everyone, this is Peak Entertainment and we are back again, and here now we have another video for you, and this will be my non-spoiler review of Joker Folie A Deux. Released worldwide in theatres on Friday the 5th of October 2024, it has Joaquin Phoenix returning in the character role of Arthur Fleck, starring alongside Lady Gaga, Brendan Gleeson, Catherine Keener, and the movie was directed by Todd Phillips. This is of course a sequel to the Joker movie from 2019, which was an elseworld take on the iconic supervillain from the comic books, creating an origin story of sorts within the character of Arthur Fleck, who suffered from mental illness and with feeling ousted and antagonised from modern day society, he decides to go on an all-out killing spree. Set in 1981, it takes huge inspiration from the Martin Scorsese films such as Taxi Driver and also The King of Comedy. And the movie defied all expectations commercially by grossing over $1 billion at the box office, with Phoenix going on to win the Best Actor award at the Oscars for his overall portrayal. Now, at the end of the first movie, we see Arthur Fleck arrested for his crimes and assigned to Arkham Asylum. And this second film picks up a couple of years after those events, where we see Arthur lamenting within Arkham Asylum, being mocked at by the various prison guards. We then eventually see him encounter Lee, who is also an inmate within the prison, and the two instantly build a bond and connection together, very much visualising about the dreams and happiness that they could have with one another. Now, the second half of the story focuses on Arthur's trial, where determined District Attorney Harvey Dent is determined to impose the death penalty on Arthur for the crimes that he committed in the first film. Now, whilst the first film had its merits, and it was overall an excellent performance in the lead role, it was nowhere near as provocative or hard-hitting as what many people made out in terms of its nature, or indeed was it as impactful in terms of its message as what far superior films such as Falling Down or Taxi Driver managed to achieve in their own story. But when I look at this sequel overall, it's a frustrating and overindulgent exercise that ultimately amounts to absolutely nothing. Now, when this movie was announced and I read the initial synopsis with its musical themes, and then I saw the initial trailers, my main concern that this would be all style and no substance. All I could see from this project was over aesthetics and theatrics and no compelling storyline. And ultimately that's proven to be the case. Now, once more, it's shot very well cinematically and there is a certain colour, vibrancy and energy in all of the musical and dance numbers. I think both Phoenix and Gaga perform solidly well in both their roles as Arthur and Lee. And yes, when they're not just singing at one another, there is a certain allure and mystique in their connection. And it's just a shame that the film didn't really build on the complexity in terms of why they're attracted to one another. Now, of course, it's nowhere near the iconic dynamic that we all know from the Batman animated series, but we're aware of this all along. As once more, this is an elseworld take, so in that sense, I think both of their portrayals were fine within this film. But for all of the aesthetics, again, it's all for nothing. If you don't have a focused story or a plot or a direction, then it doesn't matter how good the songs are or the cinematic sequences look on screen, it all amounts to nothing. And this movie doesn't have anything going for it in terms of an overall plot or narrative. After a decent if slow start where we see Arthur in the beginning adjusting to his life in the prison, it steadily loses its way once the songs start playing, and we just end up getting an endless barrage of musical numbers and dream sequences that are unnecessary and end up undercutting any potential suspense or tension that the film generates, particularly in its later stages. The choice indeed to infuse a musical themed concept here is truly misguided, more so because the songs bear no relevance or have no integrity to the overall story. Now, I'm not completely opposed to musicals if there is a overall point to the songs that are introduced, and I think if in small doses having these songs is a decision that could have worked, but again, the filmmakers and everybody else involved just got lost in the overall indulgence. It's just one song after another, and I was quickly dozing away, particularly when we get an extended sequence halfway through the film where we see Joker and Lee in an interrogation room. Once more, it doesn't go anywhere in terms of the overall story. And I truly believe that all of the songs here were really to cover the fact that there was no real idea in how to take the story going forward. And when I look at this film overall, I do believe it's a project that really nobody really cared for. We all knew the first one was a one and done standalone story, but because of its huge success, studios being the way that they are, insisted that there had to be a sequel, and they just threw money at everybody involved and also handed them complete control in desperation just to make another $1 billion. And I truly believe that everybody that was involved couldn't believe that they were given a huge $200 million budget to basically do what they wanted. And when you look at this overall, it's a film that I think everybody just played within their own wheelhouse, in a safety net of knowing that this was indeed the Joker brand, of course linked to the Batman, even though there is no real Easter egg references or callbacks to the overall Batman mythos. I think everybody felt safe knowing that the Joker is still one of the most popular and iconic supervillains in this modern day and age, and they truly felt that this film they could do whatever they wanted. They didn't really have to care about building a certain plot or a universe here. They could just have the Joker freely making all of these monologue speeches backed up by Harley Quinn, and that would be enough to convince audiences, and they could get away again with hiding behind the Joker brand. And who knows, that may still prove to be the case. Despite the middle to negative reviews that this film has been getting, there will be an overall curiosity to see how this film pans out, particularly if people want to see how bad or dramatic or outrage in terms of the movie's conclusion. But this is overall a very pointless sequel. I would dare say it's a complete soulless cash grab. Again, everybody knows what they're involved in here. They know the popularity of the character, and I think they're just riding off the wave, hoping that that will be enough to carry this film to another success. But I do believe that there was potential here, certainly to build something that was certainly visually bold in terms of its concept and also a compelling storyline overall. I look at the structure of this concept and I believe it should have been a film with two halves. The first being a love story between two very mentally complex characters, and then I believe the second half should have been a very tense and pacey jailbreak narrative where we see Joker and Lee trying to escape from their bondage. I think that would have served the film far more better, and it would have made the script and the overall pacing far more tighter. But sadly that wasn't to be, and we just end up here, as I mentioned before, with an overindulgent exercise where everybody was given too much control and too much money. I still can't believe $200 million to basically do what they wanted, and as a result this is what we get, something that's far less substantial, far less inconsequential, and overall a movie that you can watch once and never go back to once again. So those are overall thoughts and feelings and non-spoiler review of Joker Folie A Deux. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I will shortly, of course, upload a spoiler review where I'll go far more in depth into the elements where I think the movie succeeded in and didn't succeed in as well. And I will also cover the overall box office weekend within its opening weekend of release amongst theatres. So look out for all of that content very shortly. But if you have any other ideas or movies or television series or any other issues within the pop entertainment and culture scene that you'd like to see me cover within the channel, then also drop me a suggestion within the comments and I will see if I can provide further commentary for you on that subject matter within the future. Please also hit like the subscription and notification buttons so I can provide you with more high quality content like this in the future. But that's it for now. Take care of yourselves and I will see you very, very soon.